What up, nerds? Welcome to the channel. My name is Cads. This is the second episode in a series of budget ultralight backpacking gear videos. Topic of conversation is my cooking system, or as I should probably better state, my boiling water system. You see, the vast majority of meals that I bring on the trail are just add water meals. For example, Peak Refuel is typically the dinners that I go for. I'm not affiliated with this company. They taste great, and it only requires 8 ounces of boiling water. You know, freeze-dried meals, weight savings, little water, a lot of food. Entering the ring. Let's pop this open, and I'll show you all the different components and parts that my cooking system is comprised of. First, a Dyneema sleeve from Pond's Edge. Second, the Toaks 750ml titanium pot. Third, the BRS 3000 Ultralight stove. Look at this. Someone commented that this was like a little Mars rover lander. There's NASA's handing them out. Look at that. Tiny Bic lighter. 100-gram fuel canister. Let me arrange these. Here is my cooking system. Let's start with the Toaks pot. Ooh. And then this, some stabilizer legs for the fuel can. Now that I got these all nicely arranged, let me... Hold on. Okay, cool. The Toaks 750ml titanium pot. This thing changed my entire opinion about titanium cookware. I've had this for years now. This has gone on every single trip that I've taken. In fact, I should make mention, all of this stove system has been with me now for years. On every single video clip that you see me backpacking around or taking a photo or hiking, this is in my backpack, or it is in the near vicinity. All of this works so well. Okay, let's put... Hold on, give me the back. Okay, let's go over a couple of the feature sets. One, handles. Dear goodness, these are required. Lid. The lid doesn't have a gasket. It's not a screw-on. That's okay. It's to keep things hot. It's to be able to reduce boil times. Have this little triangle thing here. Really, really nice to not completely, totally burn yourself when you're taking this on and off. Also, a couple holes up front to be able to let steam out. This is solid. Weighing in at 92 grams without lid, 108 grams with lid, which is 3.8 ounces with lid, 3.25 ounces without. Also, this last little bit right here, I've actually found that I've fallen in love with this specifically. I've kind of considered taking this off, but during winter backpacking trips when I have gloves, this comes in mega handy. With my kind of big dexterity lobster mitts, I can grab here and then just like accurately pour water out. So not bad at all. This is extremely cost effective, exceedingly affordable. Let's talk about the stovetop, the little space rover, okay? BRS 3000. It's actually a 3000T. I saw this come onto the market years ago. The only place you could get it at the time was Amazon, and that kind of sketched me out a little bit. But then I started seeing other retailers start carrying it. I made just a really cheap gamble on it, and I love this thing. There are some limitations directly with it and comparatively to its competitors, for example, like the Soto Windmaster and the MSR Pocket Rocket 1 and 2. This isn't good at wind protection. Comes with an extra gasket. You will need that. If you lose that, you're kind of up creek without a paddle. You ever just like weigh a tiny spaceship? We're looking at 26 grams, which is 0.92 ounces. Under an ounce for a reliable ultralight stove spaceship. Oh man. Hold on. So in regards to fuel canisters, I don't really have a favorite. Like, here's one from MSR. Can't fly with fuel cartridges. So I've had no problem finding these and picking these up at different retailers and places that I have flown or traveled to. But part of the kit, and it nests perfectly. Now, I did make mention of these and forgot about them, which, this is one of my favorite parts. So I actually got this out of a free pile. These fold out like so and really easy to put the fuel canister in. Lower down this, notch it into these 2 notches, and then you just lift up on this and now it's locked in. This comes in clutch on uneven ground. What you know about that? 17 grams or 0.6 ounces. All right, let me show you what this all looks like. Got the feet. Got the mini. Titanium piles. Nice. Lidski, Indiana. Or I suppose I could just show you, you know, a handful of video clips that I have of this thing assembled while I'm backpacking. Yeah, let's do that. Moving on. The Pond's Edge Dyneema sleeve. This is actually made in a farmhouse in Wisconsin. I love supporting little cottage companies like this. Now, when you do buy a Toaks titanium pot, they do send you this little koozie. The benefits of this is that one, it's fairly ultralight. You can also use it to wipe out the inside to make sure that there's like no water residual on there. But since I've moved over to this, I found that I can just like use a sleeve to wipe out any water. When it's like muddy outside, super dusty, if there's snow, I can't really set this down because I don't want it to soak up water. I don't want it to get dirty or dusty and then put that inside of my bag. Because this Dyneema, it's impenetrable. You can't have it soak up water. Anything that gets on it, you can just brush it off. I love that. Now, real quick, so if we weigh out the Toaks sleeve, we're looking at 14 grams. We weigh out the Pond's Edge Dyneema sleeve, 3 grams. Considerable weight difference between the two, and this is very affordable as well. In the process of recording, I switched over to the MSR fuel canister. Continuity, here we go. Oh, by the way, this is made by MSR as well. Didn't mention that at first. Cool. My use case and experience with this has been very positive, and also I want to talk about places that I haven't been. Like, I haven't done mountaineering with this. I have pushed this to the limits of probably about 20 degrees Fahrenheit. I question if it would go lower. Even at those lower temperatures, this was sputtering pretty hard. But that's kind of my limitations. I mean, I've been to mountains, rivers, deserts, high altitudes, low altitudes. This is one of those pieces of gear, all of this combined, that it's been with me for years. The exception is the Pond's Edge Dyneema sleeve. I picked this up on Garage Grown Gear. All of this stuff, I've gone deep with this. I haven't found a better alternative that is the best price versus value that you get for this. Incredibly high quality for very little. The same goes for this stove. Has its limitations, but you can solve that with a piece of aluminum foil that you bring with you to wrap around it so you don't have interference with wind, or you can make one out of rocks. Actually recently switched this out. This is the new one. I'm basically going for critical redundancy at this point. If this fails, I'll go back to the old one. And this is so cheap, like I can recommend this entire system to people. Hands down. You're either looking to save money or you're looking for quality, and this has both. Like I said, use this for years. There is some rusting. That's where this comes in. That's why this was left in here. What I do is I line the bottom of the pot with that. As you can see from my old, like this is an old canister, and you can see like the rust kind of on the side. So what happens and why the rust develops is because there's water, which is left in here. And this goes down and makes contact with that water, and it rusts out and makes rust stains. But if I put this in here, it gives a little bit of a lift. It gives this space to dry out. So that can sit right there. I take the little science fiction mobile, and it has these hinges with little points. That's how it stays put and you lock it in. We're going to unlock those. I'm going to reduce this down to this tiny little blurp. Lighter. Critical redundancy. Typically, I actually take 2 lighters. I actually take 2 lighters. This is for the ultralight purposes. This is as well, but if I happen to lose this, this doesn't have an igniter. One reason why it's ultralight. Critical redundancy for fire, I believe, is important. The lid goes right on top, right, as lids do. And then we're going to sink it directly in the sleeve. Cinch it. And there you have an ultralight, nice, compact, high quality, cheap piece of backpacking gear. In total, and you know, it's kind of where I want to weigh this whole thing all together, but I'm going to do two different weights for you. The first thing that I need to do is actually take out the fuel. I'm going to weigh this with all components. The mini Bic lighter, I think that's going to be kind of one of the outliers because fuel is going to vary. Here we go. Without fuel canister and with a mini Bic, we're looking at 165. which is 5.82 ounces. Now, I think that this is a full fuel canister. I mark with gaffer tape on which fuel canisters I've used so I can keep track on weighing this to make sure there's enough fuel for my adventures. So I'm going to weigh this with a full canister of fuel. 379 grams, which is 13.37 ounces. All right, so I guess let's talk some prices. The titanium 750 milliliter pot by Toaks is running currently today for $26 over at Garage Grown Gear. The BRS 3000T is $17. The pot stuff sack by Pond's Edge is $21.25. Mini Bic lighters, you can find those cheap at your local grocery supermarket. Look in the freezer section. And fuel, typically, you can pick these up for, I don't know, about $6 or so, depending, maybe 7, 8. In conclusion, this has been a solid piece of gear for me. In all the years of backpacking that I have done and enjoyed, this has been exceedingly reliable for what it is that I do. I'd highly recommend it to anybody. Links for everything that I'm talking about I will have directly down below. Thank you folks so much for watching. This and other pieces of my ultralight backpacking kit can be found over on my website. I have an entire list of every single piece of gear that I use, including my photography gear. Hop on over at cadsbaker.com. I'll link that directly below. You can also see my photography work that I do there, my landscape photography. Also, there's resources to help you get started learning landscape photography. It's very fun. It's very rewarding. And yeah, it gets me out on the trail, which I love. It's circuitous, right? I go out to take photos. I take photos because I'm outside, healthy stuff. Anyway, thank you folks so much for watching. I'm going to see you on the next one. Bye now.